Today, I have another story so that you can speak English fluently. Did you know that listening to stories will help you to have more understanding of vocabulary and grammar just by listening? Of course, there are other things that we need to do to practice our speaking, but today I'm going to share a story with you about my dad to help you to understand more vocabulary. Welcome to English Coach 3 T's. I'm Tanya, and if we haven't met before, I am the teacher here at English Coach 3 T's who developed our She Speaks Fluency program for women. And I live here in Southern California in the mountains. And it's been a while since I've shared a story about my dad. I looked and it's been about a year and a half. I will share that story with you in case you want to go see that one too. You can find it in the description below. But today, it's a little different the way that I'm sharing stories with you here live so that we can interact. You can ask questions and we can talk about the story. So, first, I will tell you the story. And while I'm telling the story, if you think of a question, you can put it in the chat over here live or in the comments if you're watching the recording. If you haven't yet, tell me if this is your first time here with me live and if you've been here before, and also where are you listening from? I see Lucas is here from Brazil. Hello, Lucas. This is a different time. I've never done a live this late in the day, California time. It is just a little after 4 p.m. So this is different. Whole Zach says, good morning, Miss Tanya. I know that you're a regular here. Thank you for your consideration. Today is sunny day in Korea, not at midnight. Take good care of you. I am always on your side. Thank you so much. I know that you have left lots of comments, and I appreciate everyone who has supported me on the channel here with comments and sharing the videos with your friends and giving me likes. This really does make a difference. So I've always been the kind of person who burns the candle at both ends. I'm going to put this idiom in the chat. To burn the candle at both ends. This is an idiom or a phrase that we use in the United States to say, I'm always going, doing a lot, working a lot. We could even say too much until I don't have any more energy. And I think this is one of the reasons my dad shared this story with me that I'm going to share with you. And it has been a story that he told me many, many years ago. He's been gone now for 17 years. So I would say it's probably been maybe 30 years ago that he told me this story, which I can hardly believe. It's hard for me to believe that he's been gone for 17 years. I was just talking to one of the girls about that, but he called this story your emotional bank account. So you're going to think of yourself as having a bank account where you store your emotional energy, a lot like how we store dollars in a bank account. And every day when you wake up, because you slept through the night, or hopefully you slept through the night, you get a new 100 emotional dollars. And each day, no matter what you do, just to live through a day cost 50 emotional dollars. Just to do one day is 50 emotional dollars, 50 emotional dollars out of 100. So you have an extra 50. Half of the money goes just to be alive as a human. And the other half, you get to use those in ways that you choose. So let's see what you all are saying here. Hi, Christina. Welcome from, I see that you go by Christy from Argentina. Hi, Mohammed. Good to see you. Emilio, listening from Sondari. I hope I said your name correctly, from India. It's good to see everyone. Have you ever heard of a story like this? Are you the kind of person who burns the candle at both ends? You do so much that your candle runs out. Or are you the kind of person that's more balanced? This story about the emotional bank account really helped me to start to find balance in my life, which, of course, if you have balance in your life, it makes it easier to learn. But also, this story can really be helpful for you when you think of how you are learning a language, because as you know, there are a lot of different things that go into learning a language, and it takes a long time. I was going to say a lot of time. So the most accurate thing to say is that it takes a lot of time, and you can do that over how much time you want. I'm just saying this is like, did that make sense? So you could take 1 year to put 2,000 hours worth of practice into 1 year, which would be a lot of time every day. Or you could spread it out. There's a good phrasal verb for you, to spread it out, let it be over more time, over more years, which is how I've done it in my second language. I'm on my 7th year of practicing Spanish, and I can hold a meaningful conversation, which was my original goal and still is my goal. And what does that mean? It's still your goal. If you've already achieved that goal, it means that I want to deepen that goal. So I would say the first few years of learning language, I was kind of floundering around. Let me put this in the chat. Floundering around, like doing this and doing that, and what I thought was right, and what we as teachers thought was right, and what we are learning new, and all of that. And finally, I have found what works for me over the last little while, and it's working way better. And this is one of the things that I really work with my students. So back to the story. So every day you wake up with 100 emotional dollars, and it takes 50 just to do the day, and the other half, the other 50, you can make choices about it. But here's what happens. We wake up, we get out of bed, and somebody else in our house gets up on the wrong side of the bed. To get up on the wrong side of the bed is an idiom. It doesn't mean you actually got up on one side or the other and that was right or wrong. We say this when somebody wakes up not feeling great. They're cranky. There's another word, cranky, meaning they're not happy. Everything that happens is frustrating for them. It's going to be a bad day. Maybe you were the one who woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or somebody else in your house woke up on the wrong side of the bed. And without thinking, you give 10 or 20 of your 50 points to that person. So you got 50 that it takes just for the day. And let's say you gave 20 to that person. Now you've used 70 of your $100, and it's not even 8 o'clock yet. You just got out of bed and you need to get ready for work, and you're doing okay, and you're making breakfast, and maybe your child says something to you like, "Mom, I need this thing for school today." And they probably should have told you yesterday, but they didn't. So now you have to rush and get that done. Or maybe somebody calls you on the phone and they say something that's annoying. Whatever it is, you give 10 emotional points to that. You still haven't gotten ready for work, and you've used 80 out of 100 of your emotional points. But you're thinking, okay, I still have 20 points that I can choose from. I can choose how I use these points. So you get ready for work, you get in the car or on the bus or whatever it is, you're driving to work, or you're riding to work, or you're in the train to work, and somebody pulls their car in front of your bus or your car or whatever, and it is alarming, or it's scary, or I can't think of the word I want to use. What's that word? I can't think of the word. We'll say scary. It scares you. It shocks you. And now you have given not only the remaining 20 or 30 points you had left, but another 20 points that you didn't even have. So now you're not even at work yet, and you have used up all of your emotional points for the day, plus you've used some from your emotional savings account. And so you're emotionally in debt, and the day has barely started. And we all know that as the day goes by, depending on what your work is, there are other things that we have to give emotional energy to. And by the time we get home in the evening, a lot of us are feeling exhausted because we have spent all of our emotional points. This is just an idea, just a way to illustrate this, just a way to think about it. We get home, we're tired. If we live with someone, maybe we get into an argue with them because we're so tired. We've used up all of our emotional points. If we live alone, maybe we just are frustrated and we're trying to make dinner and then we spill something and then that is it. I've had it for the day. When we say I've had it for the day, we mean I cannot take any more. So let me know if you can relate to this. If this is an experience you've ever had where you just get home from work and you just feel like it's too much, or maybe even before that. Have you ever felt like this? So this is how my dad was illustrating to me that we are giving away our emotional energy without really thinking about it. When somebody upsets us in traffic, our emotional energy goes there. Or somebody at work does something and it upsets us and our emotional energy goes there. Or something like we spilled something and it upsets us. I decided to tell you this story a couple of days ago, or a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, I don't remember when. But since then, I was doing something in the kitchen and that kind of thing happened to me. I spilled something or something happened and I felt like, ah! And I thought to myself, this isn't normal for me. Normally, when I spill something or some little thing happens, okay, well, that happens and I clean it up. That to me is an indicator. When I get upset about something little, that's an indicator to me that I am out of balance. I have given too much of my emotional energy away and I need to fill up my well. This is a phrase we also say: to fill up your well means to stop giving and doing outward and do some inward. So I like to think of, I have expanded on this story that my dad told me, which really did help me to see how my life was completely out of balance. But I started thinking, he and I used to have conversations about this. So he probably contributed to this, and I came up with ideas. And I remember thinking, so if you use up your 100 points before the day is over, you have to take from a savings. So how do you put something into your savings? And I have learned for myself that doing things that fill me emotionally, make me, feel more peace of mind. These are ways that I can give to my emotional bank account. And so for me, some of these things are being in nature, taking a walk in nature. Actually, sometimes just sitting and looking at the leaves of a tree. I'm looking out here because there are trees out here that I can see. Sometimes it's to read a book, depending on what the book is about. Sometimes it's about doing some art or maybe taking a bath. What are the things that fill your emotional bank account, that put emotional energy into your savings? Are any of the things I mentioned things that you enjoy as well, or do you have other things? Put them put them in the chat so that we can see some ideas here and share ideas with each other, because we were talking in the She Speaks Fluency program a day or two ago, and about a little bit of a different topic, but saying that sometimes we need a list of these things. When we're just feeling tired, it's hard to think of the things. It's not exactly hard to think of the things, but it's when we have a list, it's like a reminder. And then the other thing is that I thought of more recently since my dad passed away is that we can actually get emotional loans. We'll call it a loan. It's not exactly a loan, but again, this is just an idea of how we can look at this by asking other people for help, by being with people who build us up instead of bring us down. Those are both phrases we use to describe people we spend time with. Are the people you are spending time with people who build you up, make you feel good about yourself, make you feel empowered, make you feel happy, make you feel peaceful? Or are the people or a person or some of the people you are spending time with bringing you down? When you spend time with them, you always feel kind of down or heavy or worse. These are important things to think about. And that is a huge topic that I have spent years of time learning how to deal with that, what to do with all, who I choose to spend time with. There are a lot of people in my life who I care about. So it's challenging and difficult to find these balances. This is one of the reasons that I created our women's fluency program, because generally speaking, not all women, but many women enjoy being in community. It's helpful to have a community of people that feels like they build you up, like they make you feel empowered, they make you feel like you can do it. And so in the She Speaks Fluency program for women, we have different platforms we use for practicing English, for helping each other, for teaching each other. And of course, I am there teaching and coaching and being a part of that as well. So if that's something you think you might be interested in, I'll put the link below so that you can get more information about that and find out if that's a program that you might be interested in. So, what are your questions? I'm curious what your questions are about this story, about finding balance in your life, about what does this have to do with learning English? I'm going to look at the chat here in a minute and see what your questions are. And if you don't have questions, then we'll wrap it up. You may have heard me say wrap it up, meaning we'll finish this video. I'll put this in the chat. To wrap it up can be a phrasal verb, kind of an idiom phrasal verb that means to finish something. It's a common phrase we'll use at the end of a meeting or a class. Let's wrap it up. Let's finish. So let's see if anyone has a question. Hello, Mary from Mexico. Good to see you. And Brazil, Dalma, good to see you. I don't see any questions, so I think we are good for today. I am curious if this time is a good time for you for live videos, live classes. I have more stories to share with you, more ways that you can learn English, more ways that you can practice vocabulary and phrasal verbs and all the things you need to be fluent. So if you are ready to work on your fluency and learn more vocabulary with stories, when I post this video, I'll put another story about my dad over here, the one that I mentioned before. But if you want to listen to some of the other stories that I have told, I have a whole list of them that I'll put over here, and I will see you all there. Bye.